Hi again. Whilst we're on the stream of sharing information about heightened vibration, I just think I'd continue the talk that I had previously. But this time we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about looking at things the way you want them, not as they are. Now, if your life is blissful and joyful and you're feeling love and calm and you're in love with life and you look around you and you're feeling great and nothing can pop your bubble, then this talk is not for you. And I'm very happy for you because this is where we all are aspiring to be our true self. However, if you are looking at things, for example, you're looking at your neighbor and the way they're behaving and you're going tut tut tut, why are they behaving like that? Or you're looking at your own life and you're going, I can never seem to get this together. I can never have enough money. I can never have the love that I want. I can never have the friends that I want. I can never have the energy that I need. I can never be this certain body weight that I want, or look this certain way, or feel this emotion all the time. It's always a struggle. If things are always a struggle for you, it's really one thing. It's one thing and it's no one else responsibility, and you're the only one that can fix it, which is great news, isn't it? It's great news because it means you're in control, therefore you can fix it. But it's whether or not you want to fix it. Some people are quite happy in their misery, and some people just are addicted to the chemicals of the emotions of misery. Okay, because when we become, say, sad, there's a chemical that is released to create sadness. And if you keep repeating that sadness over and over, you always find the downside to things. People are like, oh, let's go out, it'll be fun. Oh, but. Oh, let's do this, it'll be, oh, but. And there's always that energy of just negative and sadness and drear and gloom and doom, I'm pretty sure some of you watching know people like this. And you probably are one of those people. And if you're honest enough to say, you know what, that's me and I want to do something differently, keep listening. Because there was a point in my life I used to moan and complain about everything. And if I was told something positive, I would always look for what's the worst case scenario if I did that, as opposed to go, oh, that's really exciting, let's go do it, and just have that positive outlook and just go for it. I would always think, but what's the worst that could happen? And then you'd focus on that worst that could happen and you wouldn't really get to really enjoy yourself. And then in not enjoying yourself, you reaffirm that your thoughts are right, So therefore, once your body starts making a certain chemical and you make it easier, it just kind of mass produce that. And also even gives you things to look at, because your body is very supportive of you. So if you want more things to be miserable, it'll show you more things to be miserable. So you realize that your life is just full of misery because it's your wiring, it's your state of programming. So your body supports you on it, and therefore you think that life is a drag, it's a bore, it's annoying, people are annoying, people are no good, people are dishonest, and life, the world is coming to an end. People you listen to the news and you believe everything on the news because you don't have any other story to draw from, because you haven't experienced it, because you haven't allowed yourself to experience it, because other people come into your life trying to pull you into a different direction, and you're just like, oh no, I'm not going over there, because if I go over there, this bad thing is going to happen. But you ever look at other people who are just happy and bubbly and just enjoying life? You probably look at them and go, because your energy is totally different to theirs. There's no match there. So you're not going to look at them. Some people look at them and go, I wonder what they've got, or what they're doing. And if you're thinking like that, that's a good place to start. What are they doing? How can I be more like that? How can I experience those feelings? I was talking to somebody the other day and she was saying, because we're talking about expressing emotions, just going inside yourself and just feeling the feeling of what this thing would feel like if you had it. And she was finding it very difficult. She was like, oh my God, I just don't know. I know what the scene looks like. And if I looked at myself outside of myself, I could see myself jumping for joy and having a great time. But if I had to be myself inside of that scene, inside of that picture, that scene playing out, I just can't generate the feelings. I just can't generate the feeling of joy and love and gratitude. And I certainly had that problem before as well, especially with gratitude. It's like, when life isn't going well, you're thinking, what is there to be grateful for? But I had to start with the little things, the little obvious things, like I got out of bed this morning, I'm breathing. I have food to eat, I'm paying the bills, thank God. I've got a daughter who is just wonderful. She's healthy and she's strong. Just finding little things, and before you know it, that changes your whole energy. Kind of fast forward a little bit here because but yes, it's just living in that moment, because the moment you're living is the only moment that there is. Time is a construct. There's no past, there is no future. You may look at the past and think, okay, that happened, but you're in the now. You've never existed in the past. Or the past is a memory. Okay, you can't exist in it. You're existing in this moment right now. You can't exist in the future because it hasn't happened yet. So this is the only space in which we can create. And if you choose, and whatever you create in this moment is what your future is going to become. So if you're dredging up the past and what happened in the past and all that negative stuff, then you're going to experience that future. And then when you experience that future, then again, you justify that your thoughts were correct. But it's not your thoughts that were correct. It's your thoughts that create what you want, but your thoughts weren't correct. Okay? So if you change that thinking, for example, as I've been speaking about, if you start thinking positive things, life is happening for me as opposed to life is happening to me. Good things always come to me. I always have loads of money in the bank. People are always calling me to invite me to these amazing places. I always have a wonderful time. My life is so full of joy and love and grace, and I'm just so grateful. You start living your life from that sort of headspace, and those feelings will multiply, because what you put out there, you attract, because you're just one big energy machine. So whatever energy you're creating, you're basically attracting that energy back to you. And that is a fact. Okay, you can go and read upon any science book about energy and the human frequency and how we can attract. You hear about the law of attraction. That's basically what it's about. It's about whatever you put inside is what you're going to attract to you. So look at things the way you want them to be in the present moment that you live. If you see things the way you want them to be, and I know that's difficult for some people because it hasn't happened the way that you want it, and you're living in that negative state. Your thinking is just negative. However, if you close your eyes and start using your imagination, that thing that got beaten out of us when we were kids, we're going straight back to it. We're going back to that fun state. So if you need to go and see your niece or your nephew, or if you got young kids, sit and observe them, get involved with them, play with them, get into that joyous state, and that gets me really excited. My granddaughter is 2.5, and she is just the thrill. She's just such a thrill, because when you're that age, you are just pure consciousness, pure love, pure joy. They don't hold on to anything negative. And if they get upset about something, in the moment, it's painful and they cry about it. But then you distract them, or they see something else that distracts them, and they're fun again. It's like they move from ma to ha ha, in a split second, because they just don't dwell on these things, and they're not wiring that kind of stuff in their subconscious mind. But if once they get to an age, like once you get to 6 and 7, and you start, your analytical mind and subconscious mind start coming into play, then they start holding on to memories. And sometimes it's younger than that. You start holding on to memories, especially if something really shocking, the body stores it to protect them. But if you start becoming a little bit more fun, just intend it. Say to yourself, because in talking to yourself, it's not because you're crazy. People say you're crazy. It isn't. You're telling your subconscious mind what you'd like to experience. And like I said, in the previous video is your mind doesn't know the difference between what is truly happening and what you imagine. Your imagination is your superpower. And if you can use it for the right things, your life will play out in a totally different way. Totally different way. And do an experiment if you don't believe me. Do an experiment. Stop watching the news, yeah, or stop inundating yourself with the news. It's good to be informed, but if you're doing it over and over, you know, the news comes on how many times a day? Every hour? You know, you're watching CNN, then you go watch it on the BBC, and then you go watch it on another channel, another channel. It's like, it's the same news and it's the same negativity. Why don't you pick up a book or go for a walk in nature? Or like I say, you know, play with your kids and get to know, just get to, you know, get into that state, because we think, oh, kids are playing, the kids are playing, and I got to go do adult stuff. You know, sometimes just take a break and feel the love, feel the joy. That's what life is about. I mean, look at the flowers, look at the bees, look at the birds. You know, they're playing, they're having fun. Yes, they get busy and they glean their food and they get this and that. But everything in nature, you'll see a dog, they like to play and they like to. We are all wired for fun and excitement and exploration. We're not meant to be sitting there worrying and stressing. And it's in the worry and stress that brings more worry and stress. So if you want something better for yourself, you want something better for your life, it's time to change that, you know, that those behaviors. Because your parents tell you that stuff, you see that stuff happening, and you see how miserable they were, you know. And I'm not saying this out of disrespect, but I remember my mom used to work several jobs, and sometimes I see my mom cry because she can't make ends meet, and you know, she'd always complain about this and this and worry about this and this and worry. You know, you'd call my mom a warrior. She just worry about everything. But at the same time, she was a warrior, but she didn't know how to use her mind back then to create the things that we want. And we're so powerful, and we have basically used our power in the wrong way, which is why we're experiencing those things. And those things that you're experiencing, look at them and go, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I'm powerful because I'm so miserable because I keep thinking about misery. What if you start thinking about happiness and grace and excitement and love and joy and calm and peace? That same power, that same energy is going to bring that to you. Okay? So, I mean, I've spoken about this before, but I'm just trying to put it in a different way. So, focus on the things that you want. So look at things the way you want them to play out. In fact, sit down and write down what your ideal day would look like and put your feelings into it. You know, if you're going to look at these things in your mind, you have to put your feelings into it. You got to feel the way you would feel as if it were happening for real. Okay, so if you were out in nature walking and you were just imagining it and you weren't really out there, so if you live in the city and thinking, oh, I always wanted to go out in nature and just really enjoy a good, you know, 5 mile hike or something, what would that feel like? You close your eyes. You close your eyes and just imagine yourself surrounded by trees. You can hear the birds, you can hear the water, the babbling brook down the side, you can smell the earth, and you can hear the rustling of the leaves and the trees. And how does that make you feel? You feel free, you feel open, you feel excited, and you dwell on those things. Your imagination has no bounds, it has no limits, which means you are powerful beyond belief. Because if you can imagine it here, then it will be created in your mind. It will, especially if you can put power behind it, the power of emotions. You will see it in your life, and you'll see the evidence of it, things just showing up in your life. It's like, just think of seeing a feather. You know, think of a feather, you know, and even make it any color, yeah? Any color. You could dream of the craziest, wildest color. Just visualize that feather. Visualize the color of it, the texture of it, what it feels like. And you keep thinking about that feather, eventually you're going to see it somewhere. It's going to show up and you're going to be amazed. You're going to be like, whoa, that is weird. But you created that with your thoughts, with your own mind, with your own with your own emotions. Okay, so this is how powerful you are. And a lot of people will watch this and go, this is some crazy stuff and whatever. But give it a try. What have you got to lose? There's nothing you have to lose. Do an experiment. Okay, that's what I did. That's how I started. I started looking at things in a different way, and then things started showing up differently. And this will take you down a whole rabbit hole of discovering who you truly are. Because who you think you are is, oh my God, that's another story. That's another story, and we'll talk about that another time. But again, look at things the way you want them not as they are, especially if they're negative. If they're positive, carry on doing what you're doing. But if your life is not the way you want it, then you need to start looking at things differently. Wayne Dyer said, look at things differently, and the things you look at will change. And that's just another way of saying that. So enjoy that experiment, and you can come back here and leave a comment and let me know how it went. I'm always very happy to find out when people actually take action on these things. If you want to see, I mean, you got one life to live. Well, I'm not sure, you'll probably come back and do another one and another one and another one, because there's some people that believe that. But every time we come back is to improve the next, is to improve and get to the next level. So it's best to then, if something is inspiring you, if this is catching you in some way, you're curious about it, why not? Go for it. And until next time, I hope to hear from you. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about next time, so I can't tell you, but keep smiling, or start smiling. Once you start curling these bits up here, it sends a message to your brain that causes a certain hormone to be released. Hormones like the endorphins in your body, oxytocin, and all of those things, which make you feel happy and joyous inside. The more you do it, the more you start feeling it. And the more you start thinking about feeling it, is the more it becomes a part of you. Until then, joy, love, and light. Have a wonderful day. Till next time.